kind of fashionably late to this. I was going to start at 11, but got a little low on coffee, so I had to make me a little extra coffee for tonight. All right. So right here we have this, that's where I left up on the previous stream. It's a Skeletor versus Thulsa Doom. It's got him basically melting his ram staff. He's coming through with the blade right through the bicep. And then you got the Sword of Atlantis coming through, hitting him in the shin area. But I only got this little dude up there, Panther. Did a little Snake Mountain and also Gray Skull in the background. But we're not working on that tonight. We'll be working on that later. Hey, how's it going, Frank Godin? Thanks for stopping by. We're going to be finishing up this Crom the Barbarian piece right here, page 2. And this was the first pencils that we did. This is the 6th stream we've been doing, so stretching it out over a few hours. And I'm going to erase this up right here, just expose the line art. I'm going to touch some of this up down here as well, and then we'll finish up this final panel right here. So probably go for about an hour, maybe an hour or two. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, just picked up a new Thundar the Barbarian comic. Probably going to do a review of that tomorrow. Read some of that. It's pretty fun. So right here, I'm just going in here and I'm just kind of cleaning this up, getting rid of the pencils. Yeah, so I just kind of keep constantly when I get in here and just erase this stuff, kind of clean it up. Yeah. There's that. With this page, I'm probably it's gonna be a combination of like white and black gutters because of the whole like basically the fault flow that's going through here. It's going pretty good, Frank Goda. How are you doing? I'm doing really good, actually. You know, get to come on here and draw tonight. It's pretty fun. I just watched The Warrior and the Sorceress. Probably going to cover that on the next Tuesday morning show. That was a fun movie to watch. And then I might watch Fire and Ice tonight because it's kind of like Frazetta week, you know. And I've seen this Necron book that was written by Frazetta's granddaughter at the comic store today. I wanted to pick it up, but I didn't know if it was a first issue or not. I was kind of in a hurry, but it looked really cool. But yeah, just cleaning this up right now, getting rid of all the pencils. For those of you that don't know, that are new to the channel, thanks for stopping by, hitting the like and subscribing. I'm doing a page from pencils to inks. I started out as we did these thumbnails, and now we're moving all the way. So right now I'm getting rid of all these pencil marks up here, cleaning all that up, constantly cleaning the eraser. And then we're going to go in there and we're going to finish up the inks at the very bottom right here too. Job is eternal. Oh yeah, work. Yeah, work is brutal. Yeah, work is brutal and never ends. It's always brutal one way or another. You know. Yeah. And I actually finished the Crom, the first Crom page too, so that's done. It's got a title page on it and everything. I'm glad the way that turned out. I think this page is turning out okay. So I'm gonna do about 90% of it, or probably like 90, let's say like 96% of it live. And I might have to go in at the last minute and change some stuff. So you know, but it'll be a working page to where like theoretically I wouldn't have to do anything to it. But so I wanted to show you guys what I do. Right now I'm just getting rid of all the pencils so it's nice and clear, you know. I gotta clean the eraser, do that. And for those of you guys that are new to the channel, I like to do live draw streams now. I've been doing it for almost a year now. I just started really doing it. And now it's kind of forming into different show formats. I'm doing live comic book panel page breakdowns, traditional wise. I'm doing metal beatdown matchups, you know. And I'm also doing another live show too now on Tuesdays. I try to called the Barbarian Brunch, where we cover everything barbarian, sword and sorcery, and fantasy. And then we're going to start having guests on too to promote their art and their campaigns, their works, stuff like that. So that's going to be fun. And I got a bunch of new stuff lined up for that show for next week. I seen a barbarian comic today at the store. It was called what was it? It was a new one. It was I forgot the name of it. It was about a barbarian that like comes into our realm, our world from another realm, kind of like He-Man or something. And he commits a homicide, and they put him on trial, you know. And I was just, you know, I picked it up, but I wasn't really feeling the artwork. I mean, the story might have been good, but I was looking at that, and then I was looking at Thundar, and I was like, fuck it, I'm getting Thundar. So yeah, I got the Thundar book because just it wasn't really grabbing me, you know. And Thundar is pretty cool concept, you know. Yeah. For those of you guys that don't know Thundar the Barbarian, he's the He-Man before He-Man, you know. I believe he was from Hanna-Barbera, and the two guys that designed him, and then also Jack Kirby worked on it as well. He did the background work. So Jack, the king of the comics, Kirby. King of the comics. Oh, thanks, guys. You're too nice. So yeah, today's my Friday. And then tomorrow I start at my work again. And do a long stretch of that. Yeah. So I'm constantly cleaning this eraser. I watched the Wrecking Crew the other night with Momoa and Batista. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I felt like an old school like 80s action buddy cop movie, you know. Had some pretty good that first fight scene in there was really good with Momoa, and he's in his apartment in his trailer. It's pretty cool. Pretty brutal. I really dug it. And I gotta say, man, his character in that movie was very Lobo-esque. More so than any of the characters he's ever played. He's very Lobo in that movie. He was a cop trying to investigate his father's murder. So we're just cleaning this up right here, taking our time. This is part of the process, guys. So you want to have a good eraser to do this. What I always recommend is letting the piece, once you finish the inks, if you could let it sit for 24 hours, I would recommend doing that. You can also hit it with a knitted eraser first, and then with a like a nice moo after. So if you really, really want to be careful with that. Netted, however you want to pronounce it, but like one of these ones. It just kind of cleans itself. Yeah. So you can get in there and just kind of go soft on it, you know, like that. A little bit, you know, but there's still going to be some residue in there. I learned that from famous artist. I forget his name. He does the book Undertaker. It's a Bond Designé book. I hit him up on Instagram. I was like, how do you get all the, you know, what's your erasing process? His name's like Jacques or Jean or something like that. I don't know. I forgot. I'm horrible with names. He's a genius though with his book. No, his name's Ralph Meyer or Mayer. Ralph Mayer, that's his name. Yeah. So you can just kind of use this. See, I'm coming in here with this. It's not going to get everything though. But you could do that if you really want to just kind of roll it back and forth. Get that feel for it, you know. And clean that. But yeah, you could use the netted and then come in and hit it with the moo. The moo is good, the moo eraser, and then I recommend this one too right here. The Polymer Soft by Pentel. And I've never really seen this one just chilling online. But I got it at the Art Supply Warehouse, so I know they have that. So I'll come back and hit it with this because this one's just, it's going to get all the little stuff that the other one didn't get, that they needed. And that I like doing those because it keeps a lot of the inks on the page. Sometimes the inks just get taken out. And you got to go back and re-ink it sometimes. And that's not fun. You could really destroy the like line quality when you have to go back and re-ink it, unless you're like a real seasoned pro. And I'm not a seasoned professional. This is only my third comic book title I've done. Third IP. So, and I'm straight indie. So there was that book, that one Barbarian book. And there was also Thundar. Thundar came out last week. And for some reason I read somewhere Conan was going to be coming out today, but I didn't see it there. And I asked the clerk and he said, no, it's not out this week. It says, okay. I said, you know what? I'm going to pick up this Thundar book. It was actually written by Jason Aaron. So I was like, okay, this guy's a good writer, you know. It's kind of like hit or miss depending on what you like and what you don't like. But I read it and it was entertaining. I think Thundar is interesting. It's an interesting character. Yeah, but he predates He-Man, so surprised that they didn't make a Thundar movie as far as I know. They might have made surprised Roger Corman didn't make one. And we're almost done. We're getting down here, guys. We're like right there, so probably gonna flip this, put the clip up here. Whoops. Or wait, maybe I'll do it like you guys can see it pretty dead on right there. So maybe I will use that netted one a little bit. I need to get another one of these. Yeah. Yeah, but looking forward to watching Fire and Ice again. It seems like it would be some good inspiration. That Warrior and the Sorceress, that movie was pretty cool. It was a short movie too. Wasn't it the one of the shortest movies I've ever seen? Like for any type of kind of action fantasy kind of genre, like comic booky style movie, was Jonah Hex with Josh Brolin. That movie was only like an hour and 9 minutes, you know. And when you think of how whack the movie is, but how much stuff's going on in there, it's I mean, I really kind of low key kind of hate that movie in some ways, but then I kind of like, I remember I like a lot of stuff about it too, you know. It's got a lot of good concepts and a lot of big name actors they're almost like special appearances when you think about it, because the movie is only it's only an hour and 9 minutes. But it's like you get, who's in there? Michael Shannon's in there, John Malkovich, Wes Bentley, Michael Fassbender, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Megan Fox. Did I say John Malkovich already? I probably did, but if I didn't, John Malkovich, and then Josh Brolin's Jonah Hex. But the movie is an hour and 9 minutes. It's like, I don't know, man. Like the movie's ass, but it's like I can't even talk shit on it because the movie's not even long enough to talk shit on. It's so short, you know. But I'd love for them to do a new Jonah Hex like movie trilogy. I think that the character deserves it. He's really cool, and we're kind of in the whole like Western. We're in this whole like pulp era now, resurgent. I've noticed they're kind of down to make Westerns now. They're slowly starting to make sword and sorcery stuff. They're going to start making more. I think He-Man's going to do pretty good at the box office. But even if it doesn't, there's a whole swell of like sword and sorcery stuff out now. It's coming. Sword and sorcery and peplums, you know. I think what really jump started was Game of Thrones, and then in conjunction with the Hobbit, or no, the Lord of the Rings, those two things made kind of brought it back, because it really died out like in like I think like 90. I think 90 was when it put the nail in the coffin with the sword and sorcery and that type of fantasy genre. But now it's back. It's all over the place. and I'm with it. All right. So right now I'm just kind of doing this right here. Kind of it self cleans itself kind of like a cat or dog. Just keep turning it inside out like that. And then we get all the pencils off here. I really don't like erasing the pencils sometimes because I think they add a lot of what's the word? Values to it. So like sometimes I even go back and add pencils atop of the ink just because I like some of the values it adds. Yeah. All right. There we go. Kay Langueta. Wow, that's a great picture. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate that. Yeah, this is page 2 of Crom the Barbarian. It's going to be King Crom. It's going to be in the hopefully one of the Crom anthologies. But if not, it'll be printed some way. But I'm pretty sure it's going in there. About 95% sure. But you never know. And for those of you guys that don't know, Crom the Barbarian is this public domain character. And you guys could pick up the new Crom the Barbarian anthology right now. It's this right here. So that's it right there. You can get number 1 just came out. It's 200 and I believe 250 pages, and it's all indie. And I have a link in the description too if you guys want to check it out. We could look at some more of that. King 11-4. Did you draw those? Yeah, I drew those. This is the 6th stream. I started from the beginning. I'm going to do this. I'm probably going to do about 3 of these a year. And they're going to be, as far as I know, Crom streams. Crom the Barbarian. We're starting from layouts like this live, and then we're doing pencils live and then inks. So right now I'm just getting rid of most of the pencils. I got to ink this one right here, but I'm going to kind of clean it out. That way I can go in there and just have more room, not worry about spreading so much. Rocky 7499. Hey, I need your help. For sure, man. How can I help you? If you got questions, I got answers. Got some chocolate right here. Kids are always selling those chocolate bars, man, at the grocery stores for their like camp and stuff. Or a dog, huh? Well, I don't know if I can help you with that, buddy. I don't know if I can help you with that. Keep bringing up Charlie Kirk, huh? All right. So get back to this right here and keep erasing this right there. Okay. No, I should keep it right here actually. So that'll work right there. Maybe a little bit. So I got like, as you're inking and kind of going back, I'm going to have to re-ink him. He doesn't look dark enough. You got to make him darker. And then this right here, I could get in there. Maybe his dog stole your dude's girlfriend. You guys are funny. All right, so we got this right here. Cleaning this up right here. See, and then once you clean up the pencils too, you can go back and add a little more inks if you need to, Sometimes I want to keep a little bit more of the pencils there, Like maybe these lines, I might keep them just so I know where the borders are at, or the gutters. All right. There we go. Right. Okay, there we go. Almost done. All right. All right. This hand, I might leave it like that. I might go in there and add some more to that. But it's supposed to be kind of like a crystal. We'll see. All right. So this down here, I might even... Yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. It's an interesting page right here. Okay, look at the top. Interesting is, and kind of tricky in some spots, but we'll figure it out. Let's see here. I'll use this pen, my favorite pen, and then definitely gonna bring some more of these cracks over here like that. So it goes down like that. Okay. Just gonna do a little bit though, because I want it to still look like a gutter pretty much. There we go. All right. Something like that. And this right here, we're gonna have some more debris. Like it's still falling on him, you know. Yeah. There's that. Add some more inks to that. Make that darker. All right, get a line right there. This guy's just kind of mushy, you know. Seen better days. Yeah. Kind of debris falling down all over the place. All right. There's that. Okay. Then right here, probably gonna add a little background here, just to kind of separate some stuff. Make it just kind of break things up a little bit. There we go. There's that. I'll do a little bit right here too. Something right here. There's that. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Okay. There's that. All right. A little bit more right here. Worst case scenario, if things don't work out, you can always go back and add tones. And you can add tones inside of Clip Studio. A lot of the same stuff I'm doing right now, you can do it in Clip, you know. It's not going to look exactly like it, but even if you add it to this, you can have like a hybrid style where you can add like what was it? like airbrush, like spatter, stuff like that. And that's just what they have in the program. If you were to go in and buy more things, it could be really cool. How long does it take to finish a whole page? Usually takes me about 16 hours. I've figured out from the thumbnails, pencils to the inks. Yeah, usually about 16 hours. Maybe less, 12 to 16 hours. If it's like a full page. Comic book pages take longer than like what is it, covers? Covers are usually pretty quick. Cuz it's just like one image, you know. Yeah. That'll take forever. So right now I could kind of turn the page a little bit and not get too dirty. Let's see here. It's me. How you doing there? It's me. It's me. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you guys are having a good night tonight. Sean's Adventure. I wish I could draw like that. Oh, well, you could draw better than this. Just takes practice is all. Just got to be willing to practice 2 hours a day, you know, eventually. But start off small, you know, maybe just a little bit each day, you know, and then take that little bit and regiment that time. You know, maybe you'll take a little time drawing anatomy and then a little time drawing backgrounds, you know. I got videos in the Metal Cartoonist Nuggets section where I talk about a lot of that stuff. And then because there's millions of really dope videos that you can watch on YouTube of people drawing, but I don't really do that too much. I figure I'll just draw live so you guys can see what's going on and ask me questions real time. Because I'm still learning myself, you know. However, I wanted to come at it from like a different angle, you know, like talk about it instead of just kind of show like a short, you know, for the most part. Yeah, stick figures are good, you know. That's how I do everything. Everything starts with a stick figure, you know. No thanks. I have enough problems with backgrounds already. Yeah, the backgrounds, you know. Then you gotta, you know, look at life. If you have the time, then you could divide up that time every day. If you have 2 hours, you could do 30 minutes anatomy, 30 minutes background, 30 minutes you know, what's freestyle, and maybe another 30 minutes like of artists you like, you know. Maybe you could like trace their work or try to draw it, you know, freehand. I'm not a tracer, so I always tried to copy stuff freehand for a while, but then after a while I started getting really like irritated when I was a kid. I wanted to just be able to draw it myself, you know. So I got tired of doing that. But for years I would always just try to draw things and, you know, try to make it look like what I seen or what I could see, you know. And a lot of people use light boards or light boxes. I mean, I never got into that. That wasn't a thing for me. Yeah. Okay, there's that. So like this page is kind of busy right here. This one, there's a lot of stuff going on in there. So you can even kind of just start breaking it up a little bit, you know, start adding more tones to it. Like right here, I can add more stuff. Just like that. Just adding more stuff, more rendering. Like that, so it just kind of breaks it up a little bit more. So you can kind of see what's going on in the background. I want these rocks to be kind of front and center, so I'm going to go in and re-add some lines around them so they pop out more. Like that. Okay. There's that. Okay. If you look deep enough, you can kind of see a little bit more. I'll kind of just get in and add some more. Thicken that dude's hair up a little bit. Put that in there. Let's give him a little more definition. Because he's kind of up in the front, you know. There we go. All right. There we go. There's that. This lady's running right here. Let's see here. Obito Gonzalez, you should make comic books. Oh, yeah. I'm definitely making comic books right now. I got a Kickstarter that's launching next month. It's called HELWÄR. If you guys want to go check it out, just go to Kickstarter and type in HELWÄR. It'll pop up. If you guys want to follow it, that'd be sick. And I have links in the description if you guys want to check it out. I also have a Substack. If you guys sign up for that Substack, I'm going to send all you guys a link the day of Friday the 13th. And it's going to give you $5 off the book, HELWÄR. And the book is 106 pages. It's black and white. The book is done already. It's with the editor right now. And it's going to be the size of a heavy metal record. So since he's talking about it, I'll bring it up. This is the cover right here. And the logo, you'll see it's on there. But it's going to be 12 by 12. So you guys that's what that's going to look like. And it's 106 pages. It's my Viking bounty hunter comic. It's about this dude named HELWÄR, and he works for Helnora. She's a goddess of Helheim, and she basically has him under a spell, and she has his brother Rekbolt locked up in prison, and he's been in there for about 1,000 years. He's been doing bounties and just going all over the 9 realms, you know, from Norse mythology, hunting people down, getting shit for whatever she wants. He has to go do it, you know. But this is his last day on the job. He's got one more mission to complete for her, then he is done. Then he's just gonna be working on his motorcycles, playing metal shows, drinking beer, you know, having a good old time and hanging out with his brother. You know, they're gonna be catching up. But something always goes wrong, you know, on the last day of work. And that's where this story is. You know, he's got all these sagas. Theoretically, I could go back and I could tell like a million different stories with a character, but I wanted this to be like his last day on the job, and that's how you're introduced to the character. So I think you guys will dig it. If you guys are into that sort of thing, like Thor, Hulk, and Lobo, you guys might like that. So yeah, it took me 3 years to make this book, off and on. I've been working on it for 3 years, so it's 106 pages. It's in black and white too. It would have taken me even longer if I was to color it, but I want the book's going to be real dirty, real gritty. You're going to see like all the little dirt and where the pages are photocopied. Each page is just going to look messy. That's the way I want it to look. Not every project I do is going to look like that or has looked like that, but that's the vibe I want and like the feel I want for this book. So then you got Garm right there. That's the Hellhound. And the book's action packed too, guys. So there's a little bit of what's going on right there. And like I said, everybody that backs said it a bunch of times, everyone that backs in the first 24 hours is going to get a sketch card by me of one of the characters from HELWÄR. So something like that, maybe Garm or HELWÄR himself or the Hellbinger. Yeah. So you guys can get a piece of OG art. I'm also going to have original pages up on there for sale. All the pages come with the book for free, and the shipping will be included in there. I'm also going to have 3 commissions up on there. So if people want a commission from me, that'll be available. I have 3 of those. I'll also have and sketch cards up on there. And I might have some other art tiers. So, and then there's going to be another cover. There will be one variant cover. All right. So we'll get back to this. I kind of want this to be a little darker, these, just to really pop right there. There's that. And this book is something else entirely. This is going to be part of a anthology. Yeah, you guys can go check out. There's some really cool from KROM, thebarbarian.com. They sell a bunch of books on there, and it's also going to be where you can get Crom anthologies, sword sorcery books like Savage Sword of Conan, that type of thing. And Crom is a public domain character. Anybody could use them for the most part. All right, so we have that. Let's see here. This is moving along. We'll kind of check this out later. Let's see. Yeah, so we might even do a little bit of this right here. Just a little kind of crosshatch on this lady a little bit, just so you can see her legs a bit. Same thing with this timer. The timer with the stick right there walking around like, no. Yeah, so just so you kind of see what's going on. People will get it. There we go. A lot of shit going on, but I think they'll get the gist of it. Let me do this. Or no, maybe one of these. There we go. It's a little more kind of broken up in there. Yeah. All right. All right. So we got this last piece right here. This last thing of ink. Are you going to put your books in comic book stores too? No, I don't think so. I'm just going to sell them off my. I mean, you never know. I might, maybe one day, but not in the near. But I don't have plans to do that. I just have plans to sell them myself and sell them, back them through Kickstarter, you know, and crowdfunded services. The crowdfunded books will probably be like a special thing, maybe. I'm not sure. It just depends. Yeah, but this one's definitely probably going to be a special one, and I might change the format. This one's going to be like it's supposed to look like basically a heavy metal record, so it'll be a little different. It's crazy. I've been working on this book for 3 years. The whole concept of having it as an album, I haven't seen anyone in the world do it to this size. The only other person I knew that did it was Bruce Dickinson, but it was like that. But still, like, you know, people have similar concept. But I've seen this guy on Twitter. He's doing like cover art for a same exact thing, as far as I know. But yeah, I'll probably be the first one to have it. It should be printed by I put November if the campaign goes, but that's if there's problems with the printer or something. So you never want to have the exact date, but I'll probably ship it off in like July or something like that. It just depends. You should do a colored one. Sammy T, thanks for stopping by. If I did a colored one, it would be like very like vintage flats looking, you know. That's how this one's gonna be. There's gonna be like maybe like a coffee stain, a couple like marks. You're gonna see white out on there. It's all gonna be nice and thick on the page, you know. I want it to look really dirty. Dirty with like no like some of the fixes in there where you guys could see it. Basically like photocopied, you know. That's the whole vibe I'm going for. We'll see though. It might not get printed. I don't like to count my chickens before they hatch. But yeah, if it was colored, it would be like kind of flats. I wouldn't go like gradients or anything like that. It would be like a flat colors, great, like a lot of tones, stuff like that. Probably zipadones and things. Just a few colors on each page, real basic colors. I did do some more like traditional colors with the character before, but that's not the way I want to go with it. Let me see if I got a little. I did a preview of it 3 years ago when at the back of my other book. It's kind of like a concept. Let me show you. This is how HELWÄR was going to be colored like that. That's how he looks. Yeah, I changed the title a little bit, but yeah, that's if it wasn't color, it would be like this, but even less Photoshoppy, just more like flat colors. So I like that whole. This is my other book, Butch Cleaver. It would be just more flat, kind of like 90s style color, or more like 80s style coloring, to be real. Yeah, more like the 80s, 70s, 80s. I just kind of like that now. I just think that the line art gets just destroyed with colors sometimes. There's a lot of colorists, they paint over the lines, and the line art just gets destroyed. Even a lot of times they'll do it on accident too. They don't even really know. So I'm real big on line art. It's just like sometimes at that point you might as well just paint the book. Let's see here. How do I want to do this? Yeah, there's a certain way I want to do this. Okay. I want to do, okay. Like that. What was my first? Let's see here. That's hella dope. Thanks, man. What was your first drawing? It's probably like Frankenstein. I think the first drawing I can remember, it was Frankenstein, the Wolfman, Dracula, and maybe Batman. That was like the first one I can remember. Yeah. I can't really remember anything other than that. Let me get out of here with that one. I'm trying to switch over to this one. So this is the beast right here, and I kind of don't want to spoil the monster. And this story is probably not going to come out for about three years. So it's a long haul, And this one's going to be like hopefully 9 chapters, an anthology, and then I'm going to collect all of these pages probably about 5 or 6 years from now. I know one graphic, not one comic that'll be probably like 30 pages of this story that I'm drawing right now. I know it's kind of wild, but I know it's a long time, but yeah. I want to work on a lot of stuff, Hopefully. Kind of want to give this effect right here. Okay. I could do a little bit right here too. Not too much though. There we go. It's a little, Hey, how's it going, Johan Burkhardt? How you doing there? Got a similar last name. Burkhardt. That's pretty badass. It's Johanna Burkhardt. Yeah, my last name's Burke, so sounds like yours is probably Northern European somewhere. Maybe somewhere near Scandinavia or Switzerland or Amsterdam or Holland. Maybe Germany. Sisbao 578. Thanks for stopping by. So the toilet. Yeah, I got a toilet. Yeah, keep it up. How you doing, toilet? All right. Let's see here. Okay, so we're gonna keep adding this to this guy right here. But I don't know, man. These pages are coming pretty. They might be coming pretty quick, but yeah, it's gonna be a lot of pages. This story, not a lot, but like 40 pages, probably 30 or 40. Okay, we gotta do that. I want that to be nice and legit. Let's see here. For sure, man. Hope you guys are having a good hump day. Probably Thursday, where some of you guys are at right now. Friday Junior. Actually, it is for me too. I think it is 12 by now. Or almost still. No, it's 12. It should be 12 o'clock right on the dot. How much comics have you done? I've done two graphic novels, I guess, and the one that I'm putting out on Kickstarter, that'll be the third graphic novel. That's 106 pages, and then I'm working on this one right now. So I've completed three books technically, and then when this is done, this will be four books. But this is going to be broken up into an anthology, like nine pages a year for 3 years. So that's like 28. But I'm probably going to do more than that. I'll probably do more pages than that. It'll probably be like 4 years, 4 or 5. So I want to work on a lot of stuff. I like Crom. You know, he's an OG character, and he's like Conan. He's like Conan and who's the other cat? Thundar. You know, I'd probably do a Thundar comic too. It's just pretty cool. He's an old character, you know. Draw Freddy Fazbear. I don't know. Is that from that TV that Five Nights at Freddy's? Is that what you're talking about? Five Nights at Freddy's? I like the was it Wally's Wonderland or Willy's Wonderland or whatever it's called? The one with Nicolas Cage. I thought that was awesome. He doesn't say a word in the movie. He's just drinking the energy drink, you know, playing pinball or something. Yeah, I thought that was funny. Okay. Once I erase this page too, I'm going to go back and probably mess with some stuff. Yeah. There we go. Okay. And then I'll start working with these right here. like the details you put in your work. Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. Excuse me. Sniffles. Just drawing the cave right here. Little cave action. Just kind of breaking it up a little bit. Let's see here. So much barbarian stuff to watch out there, though. I was watching some Thundar tonight. That was fun. We're eating some tortas. Some carne asada. Okay. Some carne. All right. Let's see here. Let's try this. Boom. Boom. Okay. Boom, boom. All right. See, have you ever tried? Yeah, I have. Those are good. Forget the name. Yeah, that's like the most tender taco ever. I forget the name. It's like tripe or something. Yeah. Yep. Let's see. I'm horrible with names. Okay. Okay, we're getting there. Kind of around the side right here. Basically, I'm trying to add different ways to kind of break up the rocks, you know. Just for fun. Having different textures and stuff. I've been drawing this for, I don't know. Let's see. This is a six stream, so 2, 4, 6, 8, or maybe 10, maybe 12. I would say probably like 12 to 14 hours. Yeah. Usually these things take me about 16 hours though, man. They take forever. I'm slow. Yeah, pretty slow. It's always something to work on is speed, you know. Could always work on the speed. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that. But I know that most cartoonists that's what they do know. Like comic artists, it does take them a long time. They do spend 16 hours a day usually on a piece, you know. That's the going rate. All the big dogs. I was thinking the other night, like, damn, like even if I spend 16 hours on this doing like 8 streams, like eight streams, you know, it would have been the same if I wasn't, you know, it's a little bit slower, but it's not that much slower than if I wasn't streaming it live. But I don't want to stream all these pages for potential people that want to buy the book. Oh, and these books, when they come in, the cool thing about the Barbarian books, these books, they're done by cromthebarbarian.com. Right here, he just does like mail order, like he finishes them and then does like a pre-order and then he mails them off like 2 weeks later. So, and he's gonna put these out every year. This one just came out, 250 pages of Sword and Sorcery. Badass. I'm gonna have to do a review of that. That's gonna take a minute, but it's coming eventually. Right now I'm reading a bunch of stuff. Yep. Got to keep it barbaric, you know. All right. There's that. Coming through here like this. All right. All right. Let's see. There's like that. Okay. There's that. Right. Let's see. Pale, yeah. Ooh, 13 likes. You guys are awesome. Thanks everybody that that's been liking and subscribing, hitting the liking and the subscribing. Yeah, I'm like up over 1,000 now, so it's amazing. Everyone that's been tuning into the draw shows and my reviews, you guys are awesome. Hanging out. Remember too, guys, if you guys want, you can always post your drawings and your artwork in the Metal Cartoonist community tab, you know. The community page, I have that there. There's already been a couple cats dropping their art in there, so feel free, you know, we could talk about stuff, you know. That's what it's for. That's awesome. And are you going to sell them on Amazon or on your site? How many years have you been drawing? I've been drawing like 30 something years. I sell my Butch Cleaver books on my Big Cartel right now. The ones I just showed you, my Gothic or Westerns. Eventually I'm going to sell HELWÄR on there too. I don't know how, but that's the thing. If I don't do the crowdfund, for me to print that, it's going to cost a few $1,000, you know? So, and to ship it off, shipping's expensive. You know what I mean? Shipping's like $15 a book, and it's gonna be a big old book. You know, like 100 pages, like square. So you can imagine it's gonna cost like the shipping is gonna be $15. You know, it's gonna be pretty crazy. Yeah, the book will be 20, and the shipping will be 15 for US. So it'd be like $35 out the door. You know, that's usually what I paid. I used to buy a lot of books off Indiegogo a lot. Kickstarter, I've done like 9 or maybe 8 or 9 back. I've done like that 8 or 9 times. Indiegogo, I've done thousands and thousands of dollars, like 100. I backed like 100 books on there. You could see too, if you go back on all my reviews from like 5 years ago, you'll see all the books all the indie creators I've backed, you know, and I've spent, the general rate was a 54 page book for like $35, you know? So I was always trying to build value right now. So I'm like, oh, maybe, you know, for that price, and also like the shipping's gone up. So maybe if I offered that price and I have a decent sized story for 106 pages plus like behind the scenes material, throw in a sketch card, and maybe do like, if people want to sign up for my mailing list, they'll get $5 off that, you know, for the first 24 hours. So there's that. But yeah, eventually, if I don't do the Kickstarter, if it's a failure, then the book will get made somehow. Somehow it'll get made eventually one day. I'm not gonna spend years of my life on a book and not try to make it. You know, have to, man. Gots to. Let's see, there's this. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. Kind of want to do that like that. This one's going to have to be a little different, though. Making out a rock in the front. You know what I mean? Look a little different. Gotta have the foreground and the midground. What are you doing? Shiny or Shadow David. I'm drawing a full page of Crom the Barbarian, or King Crom. It's gonna have a full title. I haven't released it yet. Once I put out the first 9 pages, you'll know what the title is. It'll be part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, maybe. The story's done. It's a prose right now. I'm breaking the prose up into basically it's a prose. I'm breaking it into a comic book. But with prose, you have all these lines of dialogue. You know, I wrote it so where I wanted to write it like as a fun, like entertaining read, and like dialogue kind of hit. You know? But with that, I have to shatter that dialogue. I have to break it, and I got to get rid of some of it. I got to rip it out, because for comic books, you want it to be punchy too, though, man. You want the story to just keep moving, you know? So you have to take out some of the dialogue. Like right here, I'm going to have a word balloon. That's going to get covered up. That's going to get covered up right there. More stuff will get covered up, you know? This will be covered up probably, or something. That'll be covered up. We'll probably have some dialogue down here, a word balloon. So I'm thinking about all that while I'm drawing this, you know? So as much as I can. But the thing is, as soon as I put on my word balloon hat, then I don't care about the inks or the pencils. I got to go what's best for that, you know? And then when I'm the editor, I have to put on my editor hat, and then I don't care, you know what I mean? I got to like separate myself from it. Just like an editor would if I'm not editing it. But I will have an editor on. I should have an editor on this book, because the guys there are pretty much the editors, like Kurt Bruegel, him, and then I think his buddy Jacob. I think they do the editing. So I'm not gonna have to worry about that too much. And they'll probably letter it. If not, I'm gonna letter it. Imagine if your comic turned into a movie. Yeah, that'd be sick. I'd like to see a HELWÄR movie. That's pretty awesome. Yeah. But I'm gonna start working on my own I'm working on my own fantasy world, like a sword and sorcery story. I'm building one out right now. And the character is going to be like he's going to be real brutal and stupid as fuck. Like he's going to be a real big dum-dum, like not very smart. And you're going to see him grow and get smarter as the story goes along. He's going to be a barbarian too. And it's going to be a dark fantasy, dark, dark sword and sorcery, I guess. Blackened sword and sorcery. Because it's not dark fantasy. It's not going to be, what do you want to call it? Gothic fantasy, dark fantasy. It's going to be dark sword and sorcery. So it's going to be, or gothic sword and sorcery, I guess. That's how you want to put it. I think like Elric meets, Conan, basically. Elric and Conan thrown together. It's going to be really gothic for sure. Gothic, yeah. And a very Stone Age too in some parts. You got a few drawing things on your channel? Hey man, if you can, if you're part of this channel, please like and subscribe and put some drawings in the community. I have a community tab if you want, We just started doing that. It's pretty cool. It's kind of like Twitter, or Facebook, but it's a little more focused. Just more specific to the cats in this network, in this channel, And then I'm on here like a couple nights a week, so Then I have I have a morning show too. Yeah, that's Barbarian Brunch, where I go live. I'll have guests on and stuff like that. Just started doing that. I'm gonna have a guest on this week. I used to do interviews a lot back in the day. I don't really do that anymore. I don't really have much time. I gotta keep things to a certain time. My schedule's always changing and things like that, so never really know what's gonna happen. All right, so we're gonna do this right here like that, and then boom, 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 boom. Try to frame this a little bit like that. But he'll be talking about his book, his new comic. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it's mostly I got a couple cats on there that put some stuff. We just started doing it, but people trying to build up that metal cartoonist community, We can help each other level up, you know what I mean? That's cool. Oh, you're writing a novel? That's cool. That's good. That's good. I wouldn't mind writing a novel one day. Right now, I'm working on building out the lore, a little bit of the lore for my for the world and my character, and then after that, I'm probably gonna write a prose. Then I'm gonna turn that prose and I'm gonna break it into a comic, and see how that goes. And then if that's good, then I'll write a book, a prose book too, and then I'll break that book into a comic. Because I think if it's told in a prose, and it's easier to break it into a comic if you've, you know what I mean? Because you have the dialogue there and you have the story, and if it's prose, it's going to be really thin. It's going to be, how do I put it? It's going to be really trimmed up. It's not going to be really fat, It's not going to be like, it's going to be pretty quick. Prose are good for comics, If you're going to do a novel, then that's a little different, That's a totally different ballgame. But for me, since I'm going to be doing sequential art and stuff like that, you have to, I think personally, you got to attack it differently. Let's see here. Wise Cubing, thanks for stopping by. And yeah, I would like to write a novel one day. I was watching this lady on YouTube, because she was talking about pulps. And she was saying that when they wrote pulps back in the day, they were supposed to be it was before radio in the 20s. before everything, right? People would get off work, they would come home and they would buy like a Weird Tales and it would have like Lovecraft in it or Robert E. Howard, and there'd be like a Conan chapter in there, and you'd go home, get off work. Maybe you're building maybe building a skyscraper in New York. You come home, have a beer, and you open up your Weird Tales, and there's a bunch of like short stories in there, chapters. Conan or Lovecraft or whoever Burroughs, and those were all done on this cheap paper that was called pulp. That's where the old Pulp Fiction came from. And that paper was like toilet paper. It was trash. It was supposed to be these fast, pulpy stories. Very plot driven. You get in, you get out, boom, real quick adventure. The guy gets in there, he gets his ass beat, is destroyed, comes back, whoops a mask, saves the girl, boom. That's the whole thing. He rides off into the sunset. Maybe got a little treasure with him, maybe not, but he saves some people too. It's an action adventure, every single story. So, and they had to be quick too. They had to be really quick. So it was just plot driven a lot of the time. There wasn't really time for too much character development. But with these characters, you would read probably like 20 stories, and you would you'd probably develop, you would know what the character's like. Because if the writer was good, like Howard, you would get these cool characters. Good night, brother. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks, man. Yeah, absolutely. Hope you have a good night. But yeah, like I was gonna say, there was this lady. I gotta figure out what her name is. She got a YouTube channel, and she was talking about maybe making actual novels on a magazine format, and just maybe putting out novels, maybe doing short stories. I think that's what I would do. I would just start telling a bunch of kind of short stories, just action packed stories, and just sell the book for like fucking $5, and it would be in a magazine. You'd have all these short stories. I think that might be kind of fun, and just make like 1 million of them and just kind of sell them for really cheap. That would be kind of cool. There's something to that. Maybe if I could draw like a little picture, little spot illustration in there, maybe something like that, like a couple pages, prose style. Have maybe a picture, a chapter. Maybe you'll do like a couple chapters or something. I don't know. Oh, but coming back to what I was saying in the beginning of the stream, that movie last night, it was really cheesy, but it was fun, man. The warrior and the sorcerer had David Carradine in it. The guy, Bill from Kill Bill, and from Legend of Kung Fu. He was this character called Kane, and he was a swordsman, and he was playing, like, he comes to this town and they're both fighting over water in this well, and on one side of the town there's it's like a big castle kind of, but like a rock castle, because it's sword and sorcery, and there's two different gangs, and he's playing both sides of them, and then these raiders come in. They're like these like reptilian raider people. They'll come in and they'll like fight over the water in the well, and he's just playing all these people, and eventually he like saves the sorceress, and she makes him a sword at the end. And he was drunk during the whole filming of the movie, but he's just got this swagger about him that's really cool, and he just lays it on pretty funny. And the sound, I thought the score in there was pretty good. The movie was like an hour, I think, in like 19 minutes or 15 minutes. It was short, but it was fun. It was fun cheese. I think my biggest complaint was the way they painted the set. They would have like added some more dirt to the walls, or like made the walls a little more brown, because it looked like a play school set that you get at Target for your kids. Like the rocks look so fake. They needed to just put some dust on there or something, man. And if they would have done a little bit more of that, I think it would have been even better. But yeah, I like the storyline there. I thought it was good. They're all fighting over water. They're out in the desert, and there's gangs fighting over the water, and there's a little bit of sorcery, and the fight choreography was good. Like for that cheap of a movie. Yeah. The way he moves around, because a lot of these guys that are in these barbarian movies, they can't really, they don't know their way around a sword too much. Schwarzenegger did good, but a lot of them, they're just kind of these big buff roided up dudes swinging the swords around and stuff. Not all the time, but sometimes. But David Carradine, he really, he knows some martial arts, so he could really move the blade around a lot, and he had his own little his own little style. You know, you could tell he kind of had like a little bit of samurai kind of influence in there. You know, a little Asian kind of influence to it, but it made it. You know, it made it work. So I put that one. That one's in my top 10 now. It's in my top 10 sword sorcery. The warrior and the sorceress. Yeah. So I'll be talking about that, and then eventually I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do just straight up reviews of every sword and sorcery movie. I'm gonna do that too as well, but I'm gonna cover that on my show as well. I need to really like find a system and a way of doing it where I don't waste too much time. All right, so we have this right here. I'm gonna come back and get this later, so I'm letting the ink dry on it, and then I'll probably come back and hit it with some more. So kind of see what's going on right there. Here's that. And then I might do a little bit more. That is King Nimrod story. Nimrod, what, from the Bible? Nimrod from the Bible? It might be. It might be. You might be right about that. Yuku Tamashi, and thanks for stopping by. Yeah. I'm going to switch it up right here and try to find my little brush. I think it's might do a little something different right here, just for this little area. Right there, it might just kind of come up around here. So with that, probably going to do some thumb action. Right. Just kind of get in there. Really so I'll do a bunch of these, and then I might kind of go in there and just kind of patch it a little bit later on. All right, there we go. Thanks for everybody stopping by, hitting the like and the subscribing. I appreciate that. You guys are awesome. You guys are having a good night tonight. It's Wednesday night. This is comic book day. You know that, right? It's when all the new comics come out. I don't know if you guys got any new comics today, but they all come out tonight. All right, so we got a little bit of that in there. And I'm going to come in here like this. Just hit up the sides of it like that. Just a little bit. Maybe a little back and forth. Just kind of give it a different tone, you know? Different tone and effect. Kind of make it a little rockier in some ways. A little something, something. So then maybe like down here, I might do a little more. Danielle Hihu, thanks for stopping by. That's a black one right there. So I'm going to get a little bit of this right here like that. Yeah, this story is going to pull at your heart, especially the first few pages. I feel like I didn't even write the story. I feel like it wrote itself, you know? I feel like sometimes when you do art that it's not really you doing it. Something's coming down and taking over and doing it. Like the muse, you know, you're tapping into the muse. I think all my good pieces have been that way. The few that I do have anyways. If they're good, it wasn't me doing it. Something else. I get that measured spot right there. There we go. That'll work. Now I'm going to kind of look at it from far away and I can see what I need a little bit. It's kind of what I want though. I think there might be a little more something I want as well. I'm kind of thinking right now. Something like this. He's up to no good. This guy. He is up to no good. There we go. That's what I want right there. A little bit of that. Got that. Let that rest a little bit. Gotta watch out for my fingers now. All right. With this. Then right here, yeah, I'm going to mess with this a little bit right here. Probably gonna leave that one like that, maybe. Don't want to change too much about that. I want this panel to look a little different than the other ones. Yeah, it's more of a static type of thing. Like it's messing with frequencies and stuff like that when it's breaking out of that thing. A beast. It's inside of a giant rock of salt. Salt. Eat my chocolate. Yeah, so like right here, probably start putting in some gutters. So we'll still put a little gutter in right here. Give it that kind of frenzied look. I kind of like that. I was doing that a lot on HELWÄR. I can kind of go into the blood's kind of dripping down there, you know, like that. Yeah, this part of the story's kind of chaotic, so I wouldn't mind it looking like this. Not the whole book, though. Usually with comics, you want everything to be 100% like perfect for the eye. Everything seems, you know, symmetrically perfect and stuff like that. But I throw all that shit out the window. I don't give a fuck. For me, it goes with like the vibe of the page and like what I'm feeling emotionally wise. I'm not, you know, working for anybody, so I could kind of do whatever the fuck I want. Yeah, I even like it to be kind of loose right there. I could go in and add more black, but I don't know if I want to do that or not. It just really depends. There's just so much chaos kind of going on in this narrative right here. Like that dry brush. It also kind of fits too, man. It makes it feel like really rocky. You know. But we'll see. There we go. This I might even do a little something like that. So it's like you're part of the rock or the crystal. Like that. Yeah, I might leave it. No, you know what? I'm going to have to do that a little bit more. Yeah. I could get a little more. Just a little bit more down here. Thanks everybody again for stopping by. I appreciate you. Thanks for hitting the like too. That was awesome. Let's see, 14 likes. Hell yeah, man. You guys are killing it. Thank you. That's all that counts. Very important. All right. All right, so we'll leave that like that for now. Let's see. I might do that and then see, the drawing's never really finished 100% until you want it to be, right? You gotta be careful. There we go. It's funny seeing the guy Klaus Bang. I don't know if you guys know who Klaus Bang is, but he played Dracula on Netflix, and he also played Frolnir in The Northman. Great actor. I think he's from Denmark. Hold on, crack my neck. Oh, let me straighten it out. Can't get it in this chair. Oh, it's hard to do it. Anyways, he was in The Wrecking Crew. He played the villain in there. It was pretty funny. Pretty funny. Yeah. So. Yep. Just gonna smear this a little bit. That too. Love it. I'll put a little bit more on these. Just on that part. Then with this, I'm trying to think of how I want to go about this. I'm probably going to leave this one like that. I might come back to it. I really want to sell that like clear approach to it. But I don't know. It's hard to say. Because I want it to look like you're veering through some glass. But I could add some detail and come at it with some thin layer of white paint or white out even, and kind of going it like that. But I might just keep it like that. I do got to do a lot of pages, and I think it kind of sells it already. I think I might get in there and just touch up a little bit of the blacks, but this is pretty much like 90% there, guys. Like as far as like the pencils and inks go, a lot of the time, like obviously you would have white borders. People don't really think it's a good idea to have black borders. They'll tell you not to do that. They'll also tell you not to fucking do this. Don't have them split too much, But in here, we're kind of going with the motif of like cracks coming down, and right here the rocks are falling. Right. We're getting the rocks going. Then the blood spilt. Now the blood's kind of seeping through here, So we're kind of going with that motif, and then that type of thing. Up here, if I wanted to, I could even bring the swing. I can extend the swing into the gutter. I think that would be kind of cool. But I'm not. I'll probably just leave it like that. And yeah. So we have that. That's pretty much the page right there. Part of me kind of wants to come in here and shade this little guy. I'm thinking about doing that, but I think it might be too much of a spoiler. But I don't know. I don't think, you know what? I think I might get in there and pencil him a little bit. I think that might be fun. I'll do that. I think I'll do, let me get need a piece of paper. I think I'll do that with him, and that'll be the only thing on the page that'll signify something of importance. Sometimes I like just adding a little accent of something on a page, you know, like I'm doing a Terminator picture. Maybe I'll have like one red eyeball, like on the whole page, you know, little something. That side's too dirty. Let's see, let me find another one. My hand's hella dirty right now. And then next time we go live, we're going to be finishing up that, well, I don't know about finishing, but working on that Skeletor piece. Yep. Yeah, I got some thumbnails for the first Crom page. I don't want to spoil that. The first page is done. Now the second page is pretty much done too. I got to email the guy, see if I'm going to do word balloons or if they're going to do it or what. But that's something later. So here we go. Kind of want to go pretty light with it on this. I'm thinking, but I might use a different pencil. Let me find it. Just had it here earlier. Yeah. I might go with this 6B right here. Let's see. That might work. Kind of like that. All right, here we go. Trying to get those broad strokes. That way we can really get that guy in there. We can see the teeth of the paper. You know what I mean? He'll stick out a little bit, but still, it's still kind of hidden a little bit. King Nimrod story, huh? That's probably from the Bible. Okay, so we have that a little bit, so you kind of see that. And maybe I'll do a little something right here, you know. So we got that bad boy in there like that. Then I might come in here with a little bit of eraser and cut out some highlights just real quick. Let me clean this off on one of my clean fingers because I'm making a mess. But I get messy, guys, with the inks. Like, this ain't nothing really, you know. I like having fun. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I mean, you could, like, and again, I could put this so I've done like most of the work, but I could scan this into a freaking Clip Studio or whatever, you know, and they have all the cool like Procreate But it's like you always know when someone's using Procreate, like they have those built-in like hashes and stuff like that. It's almost like it's a style, Clip Studio style, you know, which I'm not really a big fan of. But you know, a couple things, maybe like some of the airbrush. I like that. I like the pencils on there and the chalk. That's what I was using. A little bit of pencil, a little bit of chalk, and airbrush for HELWÄR. I added a little bit of that. I also did some sound effects, but I did 90% of my own sound effects in the art. I like to, because it's part of the art, you know. I would hand letter my own words, but do the word balloons and all that, but it's just too much work. And then if there's a problem with it, you know, it's not fun if you have to go back and change the spelling. And my spelling isn't really that great, so I usually have to go back and, you know, reread the book over and over and over. My punctuation and grammar, just all that horrible. So that's why I don't hand letter the book. I like to do it digitally. But if I was a G and I could do it, I would do that because it makes it looks great. It really does. Really does. All right, so let's try to figure this out here. Trying to figure this out right now. So I'm going to do a little bit of this. There's a little bit there, not too much. I'm just looking for little areas to make it kind of pop a bit, you know. Maybe one right here. One right there. That's almost all I want to do to it. Maybe I'll put one like right here too. Yeah. So you can kind of see what's going on in there. Then I could scan this in. When I scan in my art now, I like to do it at grayscale. I don't like to do it. Yeah, I like it grayscale. I like to see everything in there. I like to see the different variations in ink too. The different layers, like some ink, because you switch it all over, you bring up the the opacity, the exposure, you make everything just solid line work, white and black. You lose a lot of the different variations in ink color, and I don't know why. I think it looks cool. I like seeing the little variations in ink color. I like to see the strokes and all that. I think it looks more gritty, more toothy, you know, more scratchy, you know, looks really scratchy. So I'm going to scan it in like that, grayscale instead of black and white, because you could, on my scanner, you can do black and white or grayscale, or I think the other one's RBG, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong. But yeah, I go grayscale now because I want to see all the different, tones, especially if you're doing pencils. Yeah, just something's gone. I don't know what it is, man. When you switch that over to black and white, that's line art. Don't get me wrong, but for the most part, that's how I like to do it. So I'm already seeing little bits where there needs to be erased. Yeah. Yep. So now I got to move on to page 3. Page 3 is going to be crazy. Not going to do that one live. So I got to do 2 more pages. I want to do 2 more pages live of this, but I'm going to take a break on it. Probably going to wait maybe a month or 2. Ideally, I want to do one page a month and have these done, all 9 pages done by October. So I got, 7 more pages left to do, I think. But I'm moving pretty quick on this, actually. So that's a good thing. Moving faster than I thought. Hopefully I could keep up the momentum. But things happen sometimes that slow you down. Life happens. So it's just kind of like trying to juggle, But thanks the 5 of you that are watching. I appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. Yeah, because there's a lot of action. The next 2 pages are probably going to be action packed. You know. Yeah, that'll be fun. There's a lot of action. There's a scary page too. I think it kind of builds on the horror factor. This one does a little bit right here on the bottom. You get a little bit of that, but it's not really too scary. I'm not really that good at. I'm not that great at horror in comics. A lot of people say that it's hard to do horror in comics, right? Because you can always see where the monsters come in and everything, but I don't know. I think it's possible, but yeah. Oh, we're back. Almost lost you there. But yeah, there's a scary page, a lot of action, and there's a couple different emotions with this first chapter. Yeah, it should be pretty fun. We're doing that, and then I might do a Puritanian page too. Yeah, talk to Brian and see if he's cool with that. And then if I get caught up, I don't know. I might even we'll see what happens. I don't know about that. I might even start working on the 3rd comic. Cuz yeah, there's a lot of stuff I want to do. I might even do one digital comic. I just don't know what story I want to do. I might do my St. Patrick Snake Slayer. That would be fun. Got a lot of ideas for that. A lot of different characters. I can really get in there and do my Celtic stuff. But I kind of want to build out my fantasy book too. There's also there's 2 different vigilante books I want to do. Yeah. One of them's kind of like a Russian KBG, Soviet spy vigilante book, believe it or not. And then another one is more like a Steve McQueen kind of vigilante style book. I want to do that kind of grindhousey, if you will, be the best way to put it. I want to do that. Then I got kind of a 80s cheesy kind of action hero like Commando wrestling warrior book that I want to do. That's another one. I got a bunch of different shit I want to do. Yeah. I got like a Weapon X style book I want to do with a character. It's kind of like Wolverine, but way different. But definitely vibing on like Barry Windsor Smith style comic, Weapon X style vibes. Yeah. Very wiry. That one I would definitely want to have colored. I see that one. That one would be colored. Lots of wires. Lots of blues and reds and greens and pinks. Yeah. I love that Weapon X book. I gotta get that again. I got Butch Cleaver 3 script. That shit's already typed up, ready to go. I don't know. I want to take a break. So I could do that, but I want to do that one in black and white. And I'm gonna have to do a whole recap first page for that, so people that don't know, they can jump right in. But now that I'm thinking about it, I might even go back and rewrite that story, because if I'm going to do that book and introduce it to the world again, it'd have to be a little different in some ways. Would have to have a catch up, and just the story would have to might have to have a different type of ending. So that would be kind of hard, actually, because he's trying to track down his father's killer in the 3rd book. And a lot of it's kind of like Mad Max Fury Road, where it's a chase. The whole book is a chase. It's a chase sequence. The chase, or the first half of it is the chase and then a quest. So he's going, I don't want to say what type of chase, but imagine like Fury Road vibes. I hate saying vibes, but that's what it is. Then it turns into kind of like a side quest where he's got to do some shit. That one's action packed too. And horror western, action horror western. Got that one. Trying to tell you guys about these books that I got, you know, without spoiling anything. I got a came up with a Resident Evil style book too. I think it's pretty cool. Kind of a I guess it would be in the zombie genre, but I hate zombies. But it would be kind of a yeah. I don't know, something like that. What's up, the Mario man? How you doing? I don't know what those emojis mean. Resi is fun. Oh, Resurrection or Resident Evil. Yeah, so it'd definitely be Resident Evil. You know, these stories, like I don't go out of my way to like think of like I want to do a zombie book. They just pop in my head, and like that's kind of what happens. You know. But I have an idea. It'd be like Resident Evil meets Alien, kind of. But it's not an original concept. But the way that the idea when I say it like that, but the concept I think it can be fun, and it's a subgenre that hasn't really been tapped. And if I do it right, I think it could be pretty cool. And I would think it could be a really good like maybe one or two graphic novels and just kind of end it. Could do some really cool fucking monsters, and I think I could make a good at least I can make like the first quarter of the book scary, and then the rest of the book is just action packed, fucking destroying monsters like Resident Evil style monsters, and you know. But a lot of that's Dead World, man. What is it? Dead World was like that. That's why I like Dead World. You know, that's why I like Evil Dead also, man. I want to do, you know, maybe that's why. Love me some Evil Dead. What I don't like about zombies is it's just overdone, bro. It's just The Walking Dead. You know what I mean? Like they took that and they just kind of did that, you know. So I like Kirkman though. I think he's actually a good writer. I love his Battle Beast. I love Skin. I like his new shit. You know. I like Skinbreaker. It's fucking dope. I like Invincible. Yeah. I always see that guy as kind of just like a regular dude. Like, I mean, everybody is in the comic industry, but I don't know. Kind of similar sensibilities like me. He kind of has like that. He's he was into a lot of the image stuff, you know. He's like similar age as me probably growing up. And I was into a lot of that, but I was kind of into like the Max. That was like my main thing, you know. But I wasn't into the Max for like the same reason a lot of like probably writers were into it. Like I was into it for the artwork and the cool characters, you know. I think it got a little cerebral with it. A lot of people that like it now, they like the how it got all cerebral. I don't like that. I would have taken it in a whole nother trajectory. I would have taken it full of Conan, you know. For those of you that watch channel, you probably know I would have taken that whole pulpy Max. It would have been like I would have made the Max primal. The Max would have been primal, and it would have been like it would have turned into a detective noir half the time, and the other half the time it would have been Conan. So half the book, he got his shit together. He probably would have became like a private eye or something like that. That's what I would have done. He would have got with Julie, his social worker. He would have been working with her. He was kind of like Marv a little bit in Sin City, but also kind of detective-y. You know, maybe he doesn't have a office or something, but maybe he's got a hat on, you know, and a trench coat, so they don't know who the Max is. They don't see his big teeth, his big lampshade sticking out. But then maybe he doesn't take his meds like Marv. You know, Marv loses his shit. He's got to eat his pills. Well, maybe when the Max doesn't eat his pills, he goes back into the outback. I think that's a brilliant concept. And then he's a jungle king. And he's going on adventures. So you could flash back and forth. And it doesn't have to turn into this big like serial like, you know, molester story. To me, I'm not really like it's just, you know, I don't really care about that. I'd rather, you know, see something like that with the Max. That's what I would do though, if anyone out there is watching. I'd rather have Sam Keith do it, but he ain't gonna do it. But yeah. So the Max was a big influence on me growing up. Still is. I love Sam Keith's work. Also, fair enough. Most don't add anything new to keep it fresh. I know, man. With the zombie thing, it's hard, bro. The thing I have isn't fresh either. That's why I'm kind of like, But the way that they're the type of monsters and what type of zombies they are, I think I could do something fresh with it. Because I've looked into the subgenre. I'm like, has anybody done this yet? Do you know? Do a little Google search. I'm like, all right, cool. I could do that, you know. But you got to get quick. I don't care whatever concept you come up with, someone's thinking the same thing, and it's a race to who gets it out first, and you don't want to talk about it too much because someone might hear it and then they're going to say something to somebody about it, and they're not even taking it, they're just talking about it, and then another ear will hear it, and another ear will hear it, and then it might be just one little technicality of something in the wardrobe of the character, and it kind of looks like the thing, and it's just, I don't know. You got to be careful the way you talk about stuff nowadays because everyone's thinking the same shit. There's that. I have another one. I have another story too. Straight up detective story I wanted to do with a serial killer. Just a one and done, one story. But I might even merge that with something else because the killer in there is pretty. You can put him in like any story. That's the cool thing about writing all the time. You come up with these stories and you can kind of kid bash them. If they can, if they work, they work. If they don't, they don't. But zombies, they're just fun. I actually do have zombies in Butch Cleaver too. They're zombified voodoo dolls, and that's that kind of the word zombies come from. It's from voodoo. So I had fun with that, and they're gonna be in Butch Cleaver 3 if I do that. Do because that's what happens. He at the end of Butch Cleaver 2, he's fighting a bunch of zombies, and that's like he ends, like it doesn't stop. It ends in the middle of a battle. So it keeps picking up from there. Keeps going. Yeah, let's see if I have it right here. I'll even show you guys. I'll show you the ending. See? Zombies start coming up out of the ground. Got the voodoo doll. There's a big old battle. They're just coming after him. Old Butch is just chopping him up. And his ride jumps down. It's like his Batmobile tour. Yeah. There's another picture. He's finding a bunch of them in the graveyard. I'll get back to that later, though. That has to be done, though. I will finish that story. It does have an ending to it, I guess. Now that I think about it, it actually does have an ending in the third book. There'll be some closure in there. Hard part is if deciding to disassemble a finished but unused story for spare parts. Oh, yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, I don't like to do that. I've never done that before. I try to keep everything really amorphous. Once it's locked in, though, it's locked in. And I sit on it, I don't change anything. If anything, I'll just add to it, but I won't really take anything from anything else. Usually, though, when I'm writing stories now, I do the ending first, and then I write my way. I'll do a little bit of the beginning, I'll do the ending, then I'll do the middle, then I'll just start jumping. I'll just start jumping all over the place after that. Kind of go back to the beginning and then tell the story like that. Got to have your ending though first, otherwise you'll just be, running around. There's a lot of talk about writers putting in more effort than artists on Twitter for like the past week. I was just saying that writing takes a long time, but if you don't, if the art isn't good in the comic, people aren't going to come back and buy it. The cover sells the book, but the writing is what brings people back. But however, with that being said, if the writing slips or if the art slips, people are just not going to buy the book anymore. But if the writing sucks and the art is just like groundbreaking, like next level visionary artwork, they'll keep buying the book. But it has to be ground level, like study worthy, like I'm going to look at this. They won't come back though. If it starts to slip, I know I wouldn't. I know I've picked up stuff like that. So like, yeah, it's like writer versus artist thing. But the guy that did the tweet, he was just pretty much saying that writers put in more work. It was a hot take, more effort than artists do. And they put in a lot of effort. They almost do put in more, but they don't. They do a lot. And if you're putting in like that much work into a comic book, you might as well write a novel. You know what I'm saying? Like you shouldn't be writing that much, doing that much lore and that much stuff into a freaking comic. Otherwise, write the novel. You know, you're gonna spend 20 years on writing one issue. That's kind of stupid. Yeah, the comic. Spend some time on it, dude. Get the story, but like, yeah, it's a comic book. You know, don't spend too much time. So you have that. Obviously, you're gonna do your lore, your story. You're gonna have your ups and downs. Your you know what your characters. You're gonna have the page turns, all that stuff. You're gonna have all that set up. You're gonna go nuts. You're gonna have headaches doing it. You're gonna obsess over it. Probably take like a year to do it. But don't spend your whole life doing it. After that, then the artist has to do it, and then they're gonna be spending more hours doing it because they're having to draw everything. So that's where more of the effort comes into the art. And they're stressing because if their art isn't good, no one's gonna fucking buy the thing. They won't even pick it up, let alone read the words. So it's just a crazy topic. Yeah, people conflate lore and world building. So now everything come out like Dark Souls, lots of cool details, but not much relevant to the story. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like if you're writing comic books, you don't really need to do that much. Just do a little bit. Same thing if I'm writing a book, I would do the same thing too. I wouldn't build that much lore out. Or world building, either or. I would just do enough, enough for the story, dude. Not only is it too much, you're doing too much work, but two, you're starving, you're robbing yourself of the fun that you can have on building more of the lore and the story later, and more of the world building later. You gotta hook yourself up with stuff, because future you is gonna want to build, is gonna be tired and bored with it. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah. So I don't know. But yeah, definitely comics. I'm sorry, dude. No, definitely the artist does more work. there's a definitely more effort goes into the art. That's just my humble opinion. Yeah. Yeah, you got to bank some of that. Same thing with all that. You have to keep it interesting and keep it fresh. If I'm writing, but like you look at Howard, right? Robert E. Howard, he built all of his lore, most of his lore, and most of his world building. He did all that in the beginning, and he wrote like the whole like 1 hour. If you go listen to it, it takes like an hour to read it, or you can listen to it. It's an hour or something of Iberia. Talks about everything. He has timelines, all that shit. So now all he has to go in and write adventures with that, and you could do whatever. There's only so many stories and so many things that can happen to people in fiction and in nonfiction. There's so many, and there's just so many types of shit. That's why like plot is it's really that's why I like pulp so much. There's only so many ways you could tell the story with different genres. It's all going to be similar. So I think plot and kind of world building is kind of important, and design, that's important. Because at least with plot and story, you're going to get some cool new elements. That's where a lot of it is. But the revenge tale, the romance, all that shit's been done already a million times. Yep. So for me, that's why I'm doing, I am building some of the world up, and I'm building some of the lore up for my sword and sorcery shit. I'm not gonna build all of it though, and I'm not gonna build a big ass fucking world either. That's crazy, dude. I wouldn't want it to be that big. I just think it's just too much. I think maybe having like 3 kind of big places. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. It seems like a cautionary tale. And you can have AI build all of it for you in a day. I know a guy that was doing that. He was building out all of his worlds and everything, just having AI create everything, and it does a good job, like kind of good, But yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. But like, yeah, that's just that dude's opinion, I'm not even offended about like anything. Seems like people maybe got offended or something like that, but that's one word you'll never hear me say. I'm offended. It's never going to come out of my mouth. It takes a lot to offend me. People can have their opinions though. Maybe one day I'll feel that like That's not my opinion at the time. Maybe I feel that the writing puts more into it. But again, there's a lot of circumstances. If you're going to write a comic, we shouldn't be writing a script for 30 years or years and years for it to be a comic, even if it's 50 pages, because you're going to have to take everything out of it. It's not all going to go in there. There's only so much you can put on a page. Otherwise, people are just overloaded with too much information. You got to break it up, You can do both, though. You can do it like prose, and I think prose is the shit. Novels are cool too, but I don't know, man. Yeah, maybe every now and then. I don't know. Yeah, they are pretty cool. I guess it just depends what you're going for. Yeah, I think short stories are where it's at, though, man. They're just really entertaining. I'd like to be able to do a bunch of those. Just put them in a pulp mag. Worked pretty good back in the 20s for a lot of people. I think we need to have a new movement for that. Really cheap paper, cheap pulps. People could buy them and read them, and use their imagination. They don't have to have it digitally. Really, something. I want to get people off the screens, off this for that experience. There's this new study too. It's just like melting some of the that white matter that's in the front of your brain. It's just like, I forgot what it's called. It's like melting from the tablets of all the new kids that have been using tablets. Trying to keep my kids off it. So just get off that and get the pulp in your hands. Make it cheap pulp. That's what's pulp paper, pulpy. Let's see here, Mario Man, and to get into the more hands versus everyone making a 300 plus page behemoth flat breaker. Yeah, look. Yeah. And make some fucking throwaway stories, man. Just get in there and burn them down, dude. Just get in there, boom, boom, boom. Have some fun with that shit. Those are probably, dude. Yeah, like you're probably gonna get some of the best stories you're ever gonna write with some fast pulp shit, because it's lean. There ain't no time to fuck around. You're getting into the plot. It has to be epic and fast. You're getting thrown right into like Empire Strikes Back, Something to think about. I do think though that like a novel's dope though. You could have one, like say you have a world you're making and do a bunch of pulp stories with the characters, or just focus on one. Try to come up with some new shit though that's not really like anything anyone else has done before. Maybe switch it up a lot, I don't know. Because there's all these tropes. You could have a whole chart of things that have been done like in fantasy, Maybe look at them, all the character designs, they're in or that are just within fantasy and in like sword and sorcery. Kind of go, okay. We've seen the sword, we've seen the axe, we've seen the mace. Let's think of something else, boom. Switch it up. Make it, cool. At the end of the day, it's got to be cool to you. Don't try to be different just to be different all the time. But I mean, if it's fun, it's cool, and it feels good for you and natural, put that in the story, I do like to have some original stuff, I mean, think of all the different Conan characters and He-Man or Thundar type. Well, shoot, Crom is like the first kind of blonde-haired looking barbarian guy that I could think of, that I know of. Then I think probably the next one was Thundar, then He-Man. So you got like 3 already right there. And then the rest are kind of like Conan, But as far as that goes, I don't even care. I love that shit. I'm a sucker for that. So it really doesn't matter. You just got to kind of have fun with it. But I do think the whole lore thing, man, I think that lore thing is nuts. Lore and world building, I think that you just you do need to do it before you write your story a little bit. You do need to spend like a good maybe year on that shit. And then just a little bit, maybe a little history too. Maybe a couple thousand years, Not too much, but have like maybe a couple things go on. You just do like a note. It's just like a timeline, dude. You just write like a note. You don't have to, a couple things, and have fun with it, dude. Chill out. Let the ideas come to you, relax. And then maybe once you got some of that, boom, start writing some stories, and then you'll get more ideas. And then those ideas could kind of go back to as you're writing the stories, it could go back, you can start noting out your timeline and stuff like that. And there's that one website where you can, it's $5 a month where you can build your you have your Bible on there of your lore and all that shit because you don't remember it. You could do that too, but I wouldn't do that. I just keep like a notebook, or I keep it on my phone, or I would just draw it. I'd have it on my wall like a poster, like a big ruler, and then I would just have like the timeline. I wouldn't want it to get too crazy. It's too much. It's too much. I want to try to keep it to like three kind of like three races, of people, and maybe a couple different things. Maybe like 4 or 5 places in there with different like weather. Make it easy. I can still have fun. Still make it scary too. You can do a lot with it. I'm ready. I'm ready to start writing some more right now. Just talking about this stuff. Well, yeah, that conversation was pretty funny. Yeah, someone's always got to say something, chime in. Even I chimed in. I was like, yeah, it was like, yeah, clickbait. It's like, no, the art takes forever. Because I know, man, I know how long writing takes to build up stories and stuff. Know about all that shit. It takes forever. But I also know the art does take more effort, in my opinion. That's crazy. King 11 or King 4H. I'm back. Thanks for stopping by, man. But I also like to work with writers too. I think that's fun as well. I don't want to be like every story. I don't want to be writing, and I might take a story and like I'm not gonna fucking write that. I'll give it to the writer to do it, or I'll pay him. And if I don't pay him, then I'll go 50-50 with him. I'm a real big fan of the 50-50 split on stuff. It keeps everybody square. So it's like you guys. I did videos on that too on the Metal Cartoonist Nuggets playlist. You guys talking about you guys doing like maybe you and an artist and a writer could come up with a story. The writer probably gonna burn through it though, dude. He or she will probably burn through that story quick, because when you're writing, it's just like boom, 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 dude. Like I'm telling you, and even the writers tap into the muse. Like you don't really talk about that, but sometimes they'll start writing and they're not even fucking writing it. The muse is writing it. Same thing with the art, but the story kind of comes pretty quick. And then, you give it off to the artist, dude, and he's going to be there for months. So I'm telling you, and I mean, he or she might get some more ideas too for the story and kind of bloop, 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 put them in there. But the artist is there, man. He's having to fucking throw down 16 hours a day to get the page going, So that's why I'll make my statement, but I'm not going to argue with anybody. There's no way you're going to change my mind. Like, just like I tell my wife, like, let's talk about this, but I'm not changing my mind. Like, agree to disagree. There's just certain things I'm not going to move on. Try to be cordial and stuff too, and respectful. A lot of people get really, really mad and stuff. Yeah, but I can't wait to finish this story. This will be fun. Hopefully it comes out good, and I do it. Comes out decent. Hopefully it's entertaining. At the end of the day, you can only want people to hopefully buy your work and support you and be entertained by your works. Those two things are a massive ask, because a lot of people too back in the day would buy work too, but they wouldn't read it, So me, I'm always, I would always read the books. I really love reading comics and making them. But for you to get someone to read your comic or to back you or buy your work, that's a big thing. It's important. It's important, especially in this time. Yeah. And at the end of the day, if I want people to buy my book and read it, that's why I make it to be read in hands. But if people are going to bootleg it, I don't give a fuck. Pirate my shit. I don't care. I want my stories to be read. That's why they're there. I put them out there to be read, and, hopefully people like them or they hate them, But initially, let's try to get these books printed and in people's hands, and sent off to these people. If they get bootlegged through China or whatever, I can't control that. I mean, do I want it? No, but I do want everybody reading my shit. I think for everyone that's starting out now that hasn't made their first book, make your first book and give them away. Print them, save up your tax return, especially if you're young. Print some books and give them out. Then give out the next book. Give out your first few books. Don't make them too long either. You know, try to make them like pretty quick, short stories. People will remember you if you give out your first couple of good books. Maybe not the first book, because your first book's probably going to suck. But maybe the second or third book, you know, like the second or third floppy, give them out. Yeah. Yeah. I would say I wouldn't do it now personally, but I'm saying if I was 20 years old, I'm 42 now. But if I was that young, I probably would have been giving out more stuff. Not my first couple books though, no. But probably like, you know, the third one. Some people can nail it though, man. Their first book, Eric, they're just the shit, you know. But most people aren't, you know. I just think it's a good way to kind of let people know about you, you know. Get your name out there. Hey, give them the razor, so cut them, then the blades. Yeah. Well, like was it Mike Barron was saying that, you know, your first book's going to be crap no matter what you do. It's just crap because you have all this, you don't know what you're doing, and you just got to get everything out of your system. You know, like my first Butch Cleaver I did, it was crap. I went back and redrew the whole story, you know. So I did that once. Then I did the first issue, the second issue, the third issue, then the fourth issue was just a graphic novel. It was 54 pages. You know, that was a little better. So, yeah, it's just something cool. For HELWÄR, I'm going to try to give away the first 10 pages too. I'm going to try to put that up on that song. Give it away now. Yeah, right. Yeah. You'd have to, again, too, you'd have to print it out really cheap. This stuff costs a lot of money, you know? But it's something to think about. A lot of people just kind of do it digital now, you know? But I don't know. I'd probably try to do it a different way. Definitely wouldn't photocopy it. I'd probably just save up a tax return or something. Because when you're young, usually you're single, you got more money, you know? You could do stuff, you could take those hits. You can afford those hits. Totally could. You know, and if you're working on your first book, there is some dudes out there, dude. I've seen some 18-year-olds that are just awesome. Like their artwork is great. And I look at it, I'm like, even if their story sucks, it doesn't matter. Like the artwork is good. I buy the book just on the artwork. And if they get an editor, then their book's going to be even better. Then they could even give that one away. And then they'll be known, you know, and then people are going to come back and they're going to buy every book after that. I don't know if that makes sense. So, you know, I hate to suggest it, but there are some indie publishers who accept short stories or spot illos. There aren't many. That is how I got published. It was rough, but yes, do it yourself if you can. Oh yeah, man, definitely. That's what I'm doing with this. I'm not getting paid to do this story. I'm gonna do like probably 40 pages. It's gonna go in the Crom anthology. Probably work a little something out, but I'm doing it for fun, you know. Yeah. Yep. You got to just kind of get some stuff out there, you know. Sounds kind of weird when you think about it in the beginning too. You're like, nah, fuck that. I want people to buy my shit, you know. It's like, yeah, you got a long way ahead of you, you know. But a little giving and a little, it's just you got to start, you know. Got to start somewhere. But like I said, dude, if you got an editor, like you're already ahead of the game. I think like someone that edits comic books, you know, that'll really step you up. And then if you hang out with people that draw really good, that make good comics, or if you talk to people that make good comics, you know they're good artists and good storytellers. If you get them to read it and give you their 2 cents, you're already like ahead of the game. So, Sunny Edits, hey, thanks for stopping by. I've been dragging my feet, but having been talks with some people, it can be a long process. Yeah. No, I'm trying to work on I'm trying to do the next 10 years of just putting out a lot of books, the best books I can, and as many as I can. I'm also like, when I have my notepad and things like that, when ideas come, I'm ready to spin and write a new story or whatnot, but right now I'm working on 2 books, and then I got the campaign going right now too. So that's kind of a lot of work. Setting up, doing promotion, setting up shows. It's a lot of work. Promoting. Yeah, I hope I get to make the book the way I want to make it. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be a hard road. I'm gonna make it though. It will happen. It might not be the way I want it to be, but it will be available someday. But I think I'm feeling pretty optimistic about the campaign. Yeah. Indiegogo is kind of weird right now. I'm just going to do it on Kickstarter right now. I think that's the way to go. But I'm happy with the book. It's the best book I've done so far. It's definitely fun, and it's action packed. It's got a little bit of heart to it, and it's got an ending. So yeah, you could be, I'll tell you one thing, man, comics aren't going like indie comics. They're not going anywhere. Indie will always be here, and this type of like interaction, this isn't going anywhere either. Even if YouTube gets yanked off, there's other things other ways you could stream and stuff like that. You could go on TikTok and stream. That gets ripped out. Something else will always be there, but the indie scene will always be there. It's not going anywhere. Manga, it's not going anywhere. Bond Desine, that's not going anywhere. Now, as far as like the big 2, I don't know what's going to happen to them, but this is always going to be around though. Worst case scenario, we're just going to have to save money up and print our books and sell them at shows and try to sell them online, sell them over the internet, talk about them on streams, let people know about them, really push them. That's not going to stop, in my opinion. Let's see here. The Mario Man 24/7. When you do thumbnail sketches for design, do you use pencils or do you use ink? I use pencils. Like for this one right here, I did pencils. So I already put like where I'm going to put the narration boxes. They're going to go up here. They're going to block all this out. Like those bats probably won't even be seen in there. But if someone buys this page of original art, they're going to get bats in there, This is going to be put in digitally. So then I'll have like crack, crack, crack. You can see the sound effects. I'll come back in here probably later. That'll be another thing I do. I might do them digitally, But I have all that in there, all penciled up. Then I look at this, and I'll just pencil it from here. And I'm doing this live too, so you guys can see how I do all of it, You can say, ew, that's ugly. I don't like that, but that's a good concept. That's why I want to be. I want to be the guy that gives people ideas, even if I don't do that good of a job. My execution's dog shit. At least I can inspire people to get the ideas I have, and use them. Because I remember when I came over to YouTube for ideas and guidance, there wasn't a lot of it. There's more now, but it's still kind of you don't really see people just drawing a whole comic book page on YouTube, from nothing to something that much. I mean, I don't, not a whole page really. I mean, not on a live stream, not over 6 live streams, right? It's usually like maybe a couple. I don't know. It's not really like that. But I want to do a lot of them. I want to do like 3 a year, three like pages a year, so that'll be like a bunch of streams, dude. Let's see here. Sorry guys, I'm trying to answer these correctly. See, Eric Boyd, I've heard a lot of campaigns are being gatekept by Indiegogo. Yeah. Indiegogo's ass now. Mario Man. There's always an indie market, indie movie, indie games, indie comics, indie music. There are people always willing to look. Yeah, I'm all about indie, dude. Like, I really like indie. Now, for some reason, the masses really like it. That's not my fault. If someone wants to pay me a lot of money for something that I made in my art, I'm not going to turn that money down either. I got family. I got kids to feed. Man, I got 2 kids to feed. Like Willie and Total Recall. That's me. I'm like, You know what I'm saying? The artist isn't starving, then the artist isn't hungry. Let's see here. I'm awake a bit too early, but saw you streaming since I subbed the other day. Oh, thanks for subbing, man. Wanted to give you a brief shout out and like hope to see you later. Everyone take care. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, man. I always am it's nice to see you and always like to hear you. Always like to hear the input, man. Especially from like fellow artists too. Yeah, a lot of indie tutorials blew up around 2020, right? So, and it's like tutorials though, right? But they're not really live streaming in front of an audience doing it, you know? Some are, but usually they just kind of come in with like a half like penciled page and they start inking it or something, you know? I don't see too many that start from the thumbnails while they're like just chilling talking. I mean, do you? If you I mean, I don't really know of any. I see fools drawing pages all the time, but they're not like they don't start from nothing, you know? Like what I'm gonna do is I'll have the script right there too of what I'm gonna, not the script, but what I'm gonna, I'll like write on there what I'm gonna draw, you know. So like I can actually visualize it with you guys. Yeah, it gets time lapse, right? See, and I'm not gonna time lapse it. It's gonna be long and a big slog and sludgy, and it's gonna take forever. You know, I'm gonna like work my way through it. You guys are gonna see me like on the fly think of ideas, you know, of just random stuff. Like tonight, I didn't know I was gonna make that border look like a crystal, like with the different angles. That was new. I didn't know like the blood was gonna fade into the gutters. That happened today. That was random. I didn't plan that out. All the cracking that's going into the gutters, didn't even think about that, you know. So all that stuff that happens on the fly, that too, and then just setting up the panels, like none of this was really in my head too much. It happened with you guys, you know. And that's the type of stuff I mean that like I don't really see on live streams too much. You know, so that's what I want to do. I don't want people like, what are you doing? Like talking some shit in the chat, you know, what are you doing right there? What's going on? You know, I want to be able to answer people. Oh, that looks cool, dude. Or, oh, that looks ass. Who do you think you are? Like, I'm down for all that. That's why I'm here. You know, that's what I want to do. So, but yeah. I kind of want to draw. Now I want to start drawing something else. I need to have other stuff to draw. I want to show you guys what I was working on today, but I want to spoil it. It's pretty funny though. Oh man, I was working on this today. Can't really see it, but yeah. And then that Skeletor piece, I kind of want to come in and do that. Thing is, though, I'm probably not going to stream for a few days. I got a lot of work coming up. If anything, I might try to do it. Maybe I'll do a quick stream tomorrow, like in the middle of the day sometime, like a weird random hour. I'll work on that Skeletor piece because it's Valentine's Day weekend. I'm working a ton of overtime coming up, so I'm probably gonna not be streaming as much for probably like a week. Yeah, I've been trying to stream, hit it hard right now. Promotion, trying to talk about HELWÄR and stuff. So, but if you guys haven't checked out HELWÄR, I'm going to do a quick little spill about that. If you want to go follow it over on Kickstarter, just type in HELWÄR, it'll pop up. It's going to be my next book. It's going to be 106 pages, black and white, pulpy, inky, pulpy, gooey, coffee stained, photocopied art in the book, and it's going to look like a heavy metal album cover, or actually the whole thing is just going to look like a heavy metal album. It's about this bounty hunter that works for Helnora, the goddess of Helheim, and he's on his last day of work. He's been working for her for hundreds of years, and after he completes his final mission, she's going to set him and his brother free. But you know, there's always something that's going to happen, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's a action-packed Viking adventure, man, and it's the story of his saga. So I'll be putting out I'm going to be recording a new trailer for this too, so I have an idea of what I want to do. I think it might be fun. It might be kind of funny too. think you guys might get a kick out of it. So, but check it out. If you guys sign up to my Substack, I'm gonna send you a $5 off link. Also, for the first 24 hours. Also, whoever backs the book in the first 24 hours, you guys are gonna get a sketch card of a random character from HELWÄR. Just it's just gonna be pencil and ink like that. Maybe like Hellbinger or HELWÄR. Maybe Garm, the Hellhound. You know, what else we got in here? Maybe Helnora, Goddess of Hell. There's more characters too. I haven't drawn them all. Just keeps it fun, you know. I was gonna do characters from just a Rune Cutter verse, but now I want to stay on topic. You know, got Wreck Bolt. So, but yeah, if you guys want, go check it out. And again, if you guys sign up to my Substack, it's free. I'll have my like monthly updates in there. I'll be talking about what I'm doing, what books I'm working on. I'll have artwork in there too. You guys can check out. I'm going to be selling a lot of artwork. I'm setting up my, I have my store up right now. If you go to Batmerk, Linktree is all set up. If you go over to my Big Cartel, I have a few pieces up on there, but I'm going to be opening up my coffee. It's open right now, but I haven't done anything with it. I'm going to put up all my art gallery. I'm going to be selling a lot of artwork on there too. So looking forward to all that. But thanks everybody for watching, man. 16 likes, man. That's not a small number. That's awesome. And the 4 of you guys watching right now, I really appreciate it and hanging out with me. I don't know if you guys have any other questions, let me know. But probably gonna take off right now. I think it's almost 2 in the morning right now, maybe. I don't have a clock in here. Probably gonna go watch a movie and eat some unhealthy food. Yeah, maybe some chips and salsa or something. Or those pinwheels, you know, those little Mexican pinwheels you get from the corn man, with some lime and some tapatio on top. Maybe a little Fire and Ice. I want to watch that movie. Yeah. But yeah. Hopefully tomorrow I'll try to get a little stream in. Otherwise, I might get one on the weekend sometime, but it's Valentine's Day, so it probably won't. And then for sure it should be back Tuesday for Barbarian brunch at around 10:30 to 11, between 10:30 and 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll have a bunch of stuff to talk about that. There's a Battlestar Barbarian book on Instagram. I forgot the name of the creator. He's promoting that. I want to pick that one up. I think they're sold out though. It fucking looks so good. But yeah, thanks again, guys. You're awesome. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. Post up your art in the community. Post up your bad art. Post up your good art. It don't matter. Get your stuff out there. Let it be seen. You know, you're either an artist or you're not. It doesn't really matter if you're good or not. You are an artist. You got to tell yourself that. Thanks again, guys. Always remember to be bold, be brave, and roll the bones to know your role. And remember, if the artisan is starving, then the artist isn't hungry. I'll see you guys next time. Stay metal.